I am grateful, I'm grateful that I have, and I know you said a word, but hey, it's me. I'm grateful that I have people who I can call upon and then they show up. Ladies and gentlemen, please can we put our hands together for Coach Isaac? Please, please, please. While you are doing that, can we put our hands together for Neil Cad? Pastor Chiledu is somewhere around. But let's also put our hands together for Salem King. I knew you were going to scream. I knew. But yes, I'm really, really grateful that this is happening. So, in one word,
yes, one.
I'm grateful.
Awesome. So now I just want to tell us more because I'm sure everybody is curious. I mean, once you talk about CWB, whether online or physically, people rush, to just like come and they want to see what's happening. So, but we want to know what inspired you to start conversations with Brenda, first of all. So it's in two parts. And then the second part is what made you, what moved you to have this particular session? I mean, the audacity to leave, because it's such a heavy topic. I mean, so those two questions.
So there's a long answer and then there's a short answer. Which one do you want?
Give us in between.
Okay, so sometime in 2013, I think, and I think I don't like to share this story, but just so you have a good background. Sometime in 2013, I had a failed engagement, and I was quite young. I was pretty young. I was young out of law school. I felt like I was going to take over the world, And again, I'm the last born. Hello, do we have last borns in the house? Yeah. So I'm the last born. So I was used to everybody making decisions for me. So, e.g., the fact that I studied law, right? That was my father's decision. When I joined UBA, that was my sister's idea that you should be a banker. So I grew up with what everybody felt was good. And then for the very first time, I decided that, let me make this decision for myself. I've come out of school, let me get married and all of that stuff. And then it failed. And I was gripped with a kind of fear that I did not really know really existed. And for me, it was a fear of life. Because I just felt like I didn't have the capacity to make decisions of my own, and I was in that place I was in a really dark place because, it was very dramatic in the way it happened, but I'll spare you the details. But I was in that place for at least 10 years. And when I say it sounds crazy. That was what happened. For 10 years, I was just in limbo, right? And like I said, when I was doing my introduction, I heard a conference that was happening online, something like this, and I saw the lineup of speakers, and it looked like it was going to be good. So that day, I got out of bed and I said, let me attend this conference. And I attended that conference. I listened to some very amazing speakers, and I made a connection with one of them. And I feel like my life changed from that point on. It wasn't a sudden change. So it wasn't like, I attended the conference and then my life just, no. But a lot of other things that happened afterwards, I can tie to the fact that I made myself available to attend that conference. And so I realized that because that day I was listening to speakers and they were saying things that I had not really heard before. Things like this, audacity to live, your mind, how you can use your mind. I was looking at them like, because before then, what we're used to is, I want to make money. That was the mindset. I'm out of school, I need a good paying job. But then I started to hear people talk about how your mindset can shape your life and things like that. And so I decided that, and this decision was just about 2 years ago, that I needed to bring conversations to people because I recognize that there are people who are like me, who need to hear certain types of conversations. Else they just live their lives every day. You wake up, you iron your dress, you go to work, right? You come back home, you cook, you eat. Maybe you watch TV 2 hours, you go to sleep. And then you do that and the years are passing by. And nothing seems to be happening, right? So for me, I said, I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to do something that I'm going to bring people who have had, a level of success to come share their stories with us. Because again, sometimes we think that, and I warned you, this is a long answer. So sometimes, and I'm not done. So sometimes we don't listen to these kind of conversations, right? Or we hear them and we think that it's not for us, right? So I'm not like those people. Maybe it's them. God has just, the way God has created us in this life, some people, it's just for them, it's for it to happen for them, but I needed to bring light to people. And again, this is the shorter version now. A part of birthing conversations with Brenda also came from a place of disappointment in myself, right? Because I felt like I have access to people. I have access to people who have succeeded and all of those things. And for some reason, people tend to just like me. Hello, right? So I was like, I have access to these people, but it's like my life is not even changing. Okay, since I have this access, and I have so many friends that I think can really do well in life, maybe if they hear from these people, they can make something out of their own lives. And so I decided in that moment to be a bridge, right, between the people who have succeeded and have something to say, and my friends who I think, if they hear something, their lives may accelerate even faster. And that was how Conversations with Brenda was bettered. Again, the vision was progressive. So when I started it, we were just on Zoom, right? I just invite my friends. I will send them messages, send, join in, and I'll get a good number of people joining, and we'll have these very interesting conversations. I'll have very good feedback. And so when we're done that, and we're done that for a year, I felt, instead of being on Zoom every time, let's do something physical. And that's why we had the first physical event last year. And I remember at the end of that event, somewhere around, okay, it wasn't this hall, I think it was the other hall, somewhere just around, someone hugged me and said, I can't remember the person now. She said, Brenda, this is going to be our annual get-together. And in my mind, I said, annual what? I'm not doing this again, But then, towards the end of last year, I thought to myself that, am I not doing this because I don't want to do it, or because I'm just afraid that, I may not be able to pull it off. And again, I like a challenge, so I did that, and I said, we're going to do something this year. And audacity to live, because we're living in very interesting times where people are losing hope, where people are giving up their dreams just to survive, And I said that there is more to life. So there's a tendency for us to say, this administration, if you don't succeed, everybody will understand, right? But there is still the possibility of success, and that's the possibility that I want us to concentrate on today. Yeah. So that's the short part of it.
That's the short part. Well, thank you so much. So, just now you spoke about certain fears that you had to overcome, and you being stuck and self-doubt. Now I'm just going to say, I'll just give an example of when somebody's going to the gym. The way they put dedication into waking up in the morning and all that. Just stay with me. Okay. So, but now, what's your own secret? Because in that case, it's discipline or maybe commitment, right? But in this case now, how did you push past that, as in those fears that you had? What was your secret ingredient, should I say, to make you say, I know I'm afraid, but I'm just going to have to do this. For example, doing this again, just like you said you were afraid the first time. What do you think is that ingredient or something that makes you move?
Okay, so I don't want to sound like a superhero, so that people don't, again, begin to feel the way I used to feel when I heard people speak. I'm not so good at being committed to things per se. So I started working out so many times, which is why I was giving you the side eye when you were talking about working out, right? And I think Selem will agree with me, it's not an easy journey. And it's not an easy thing to do. So I've started and I've stopped so many times. And so again, I struggle with this thing. So it's not like I'm just, one Brenda just wakes up in the morning, she's going to change the world. No. I cry a lot. I know, he knows that, yeah. So I don't want to come and say, it's because I have this, no. So the truth of the matter is that I feel like, of course, to a large extent, there is the help of God. And to another ingredient for me is that God just surrounds me with the right people. So e.g., Othman is someone that I will say, I have this crazy idea of, I think we should I want to do this thing, but I don't know. And Othman was like, hey, we can do this now. You do like this, you do like this. He brings out his laptop, and before you know, we have a program, or we have something, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So yes, for me, I think that being able to surround myself with the right people, share my dreams with people who will not kill it. The people who will not fan the doubts. Because already, as I'm telling it to you, I have my own doubts, I have my own fears, I have things that I'm thinking that I don't think this is going to work out. But I know the right people to speak to, the people who will not kill my dreams. So that's one major ingredient for me, because I mean, look around you. I couldn't have done any of this on my own. I have people who volunteer. I have people who are saying, "Oh, I'm going to support you with this and that." And so I think that's very important, which is cultivating your network, right? So just make sure that you have people who are going to help you. But at the same time, I think that I have lived with fear long enough to know that it is not real. Right? So, like I told you, I lived with fear. Over 10 years of my life, I was living in fear. Right? But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't fear. What's up now? Do you understand? Like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Right? And so I am ready to, there are things I've done and they've not worked out. But it's okay. We go again. Right? What if it works out? What if we have an event such as this? What if I'm able to meet fantastic people seated in this place? Yeah, so I shift my mindset from whether it is impossible or whatever, to see the possibilities of it. And then lastly, again, the mindset thing is very important, right? And I put myself in environments where I see things work. So because I can see that it is working for others, I know that it can work for me as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think just to speak to that as well, I think working with Brenda also gave me a level of audacity, because Brenda is such a strong believer in anything can work. Brenda will tell you something like, I know that by the end of this year, I'm going to be driving a Range Rover. And shockingly, end of this year, you see Brenda driving a Range Rover. It just happens that, like, she just has this way of just believing that things will happen and things will change, and somehow they do. So that's something that I feel like I tapped into, that level of audacity that she has as well. So thank you so much for that as well.
Thank you,
and
Othman.
for all that you do.
Don't make me cry.
So, but I also want to know, and I'm sure everybody else who here wants to know, what's one hard life lesson, that life taught you in the hard way? Like, you just look at it and like, you shouldn't have even taught me this lesson in the first place. I didn't want to learn this. Like, what's that one lesson?
Again, there's a short way to answer it. So
Give us the shortest one.
Okay, so the short answer is that nobody's coming to save you, unfortunately. And the long answer is that I grew up feeling very special. You know, when I was in secondary school, my teachers would tell me, this girl, you're so special. You're special. So I felt special. Do you understand? So I was expecting that life would treat me specially. Do you understand? And like, it's me now, so things should just happen. I remember one time when I was 7, the office where I was serving, the MD or so, he was trying to buttress the fact that, we need to work hard. And he said, it's very rare for you to walk on the road and maybe you just see a bag by the road and then there's money. What's the possibility of that happening? Do you think that can happen? I said, yes, so. And everybody was like, I said, I think that thing can happen for me. So I used to have that kind of mindset that, somebody would just come, maybe I'll just marry one allergy, just travel, I'm joking, I'm joking, but I used to just believe that things would happen for me, that people will see me and they will just like me, then they will now just, dash me money or do the things that I need to do. I hope that happens actually. But the truth is, I learned that I needed to stand up for myself. I learned that, nobody was coming to save me. I learned that I needed to do the hard work. The hard work was the part I never liked. I could dream, I could do all that stuff, but I didn't want to do the hard work. So yeah, life taught me that you have to do the hard work. Yes.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yes.
So in addition to what you just said, I'm sure this is an advice you give your younger self, right? All that you just said, but is there anything in particular that if you could go back 10 years, for example, you would tell Brenda of 10 years ago, what advice would you give her outside of these things as well? Okay, in just one sentence, maybe if you could just go back and just say, you look at
Yeah,
your mirror.
I can't talk to my old in one sentence. That's not gonna happen.
Just the command, just the direction.
No, so funny enough, right? I did an Instagram post some time ago where I spoke to my 17-year-old self. I put a throwback picture,
Okay.
and then I wrote a letter to my 17-year-old
Yeah.
self. Can I read it?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, I think. Yeah. Oh, I think I have my phone here. Sorry, just give me a second. I hope that I can get it out in a short while. I think it was really interesting because, again, like I said, I'm a crybaby, so I think I cried writing that post, but it meant a lot to me. Oh, I don't have network. So I think 10 years ago is a little too close. Do you have that? Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't think I'm a great writer like that, but I like to write and read what I write. So I used a throwback picture. So if you go on my Instagram page, see
you can go on her Instagram and follow her, by the way, Brenda.ekwakide. Yes, on Instagram.
Yeah, so I said, hi, my name is Brenda and I'm 17 years old. I'm a law student. Studying law was my dad's idea. I wanted to study mass communication, but I think I'm enjoying the law thingy. I'm very excited about life. I know that I'm made for greatness. It doesn't yet seem like it, especially judging by the fact that I live in Ekpoma. But I know that I am made for more. I can see myself speaking to thousands of people and lending my voice to issues that affect the world. I love to enjoy a good laugh. I love meeting people, and I also enjoy listening to music. I think I'm going to have a show one day that talks about music, and I really think I'll love being on radio. I want to be very influential, and I want to impact the world. I believe I can achieve all these things before I am 30. And then I was like, ha 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 ha. And then I'm like, okay, that was an interruption, but I know I'm special, so I know all these things will happen for me easily. So this is a letter to my 17-year-old self. So the response to that was, dear Brenda, life happens even to the best of us. Life did happen to you too. And because you didn't see it coming, it took you a while, years, to get back on your feet. But hey, you aren't doing badly at all. You did have a show where you spoke about music until you evolved from it. You also were on radio and had a great time while at it. It's funny how so many years later, my favorite things are still having a good laugh, meeting people, and listening to music. As for lending my voice to world issues, let's just say technology has made that easier, and we are still on course. As for your other dreams, life has taught me that some things take time, because you need to develop capacity for them. But I'm doing my best creating impact around me. As I type to you tonight, my heartfelt prayer is that I will do you proud. So help me God. Yeah. So I do crazy things like that. So I write letters from my future to me, from my past, things like that. And so that just sums it up, right? And life happens, right? And some things take time, So those are the things I would say to my 17-year-old self. That some things take time, that life does happen, but that when you put your heart to things, you really can achieve anything.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. I think that deserves a round of applause, actually. Thank you so much. So, what's next, basically, for Conversations with Brenda? We've seen how many episodes now?
I lost count. But it's not that many.
No, but it's impressive, actually. I think it's about 13 or close to 14, and then 2 live episodes where you've gathered over 200, close 300 people, over 300 people, right?
What, that many?
Okay. Live 1 and live 2.
Okay.
So, what's next, basically, for Conversations with Brenda? What should we be expecting? Are we planning to invite or?
Not a bad idea.
Okay. What's next?
Yeah, so again, like I said at the beginning, I didn't have a full picture. So hello, at the beginning, I did not have a full picture. So when I started, I just knew that I wanted to bring people and other people to listen to them. But as time went on, I evolved into doing a physical event like this, at least once a year. I don't know that I want to put myself on the spot by saying what's next, but I would say, please, I have a YouTube page. Follow me on YouTube because we're going to be uploading stuff
on
YouTube.
The name of
at CWB Brenda or
CWB
Conversations
Brenda.
with Brenda. Yes.
So at least we're expecting like 100 more subscribers.
Actually,
150.
Yes, so please, on YouTube, it's Conversations with Brenda at CW Brenda. CW Brenda. So please, but we're going to be doing, I have an idea. I don't think I've spoken to you about it just yet, but I do have an idea, and I think that we're going to be launching that very soon. So please, stay tuned.
Okay. And then finally, but not finally yet, what's your advice to people who want to start living with audacity? I mean, tell us, I want to start living with audacity. What's your advice to me? How should I?
Just start. Right? Just start. Don't overthink it. Don't be stuck up in trying to figure out the details of whatever it is that you want to do. You will never know if it will work out or not unless you start. So even if you sit down, you think it true and true and true, will it work, will it not work? You will never know if you don't try. So start whatever it is that you want to start. And there is always a smaller version of your big dreams. So yes, the dream might be, you could hear my letter from my 17-year-old saying, I want to talk to thousands of people, right? But there's somewhere to start from. I started by talking on Zoom. Sometimes 30 people show up, sometimes 45, sometimes when we get up to 80, I'm like, yay, 80 people showed up. But that's a smaller version of a big dream. This is not the end of the dream, right? So this is really not it. But it's progressive. I will not wake up one morning and want to talk to 1,000 people. I need to build capacity for it. And this is capacity building. So live your life. There are so many ways I could say this. So there are people who are afraid that other people will laugh at them. Hello? Those other people are afraid that you would laugh at them. So don't be the one who blinks, right? So don't becloud your mind with what will people say. If I now do it, if it does not now work, they will not be laughing at me. You laugh at yourself first. Let's all laugh together. It's not that, okay, Selena doesn't like this, but it's really not that deep, right? So I watch your videos a lot. It is really not that deep. Do you understand? You have to put yourself out there. Start on a Tuesday, start on a Thursday, start on the 21st of a month. Sometimes we are waiting for the 1st of January, 2026, let me just start. Start it now. Do you understand? A lot of people start working out in January. The gyms are full because everybody New Year resolution. Start it on a Thursday in August. It's fine. So let's not limit ourselves by those things. Let's not hold ourselves back. We have a lot of voices in our heads and we're confused because you want it to start out perfect. Make the mistakes. I am never afraid to make mistakes. I will do it if it's no good. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm from Edo State, so I speak Pidgin a lot. Othman doesn't like that, but we would learn from it. The idea is that the next one we do is better than the last. I'm sure the people that were here last year, we didn't have this number. It wasn't this organized, it wasn't this branded, right? But we did something. Next year, obviously, it's not going to be like this. It's going to be a lot. No, I'm getting too excited. I'm getting too excited.
Now you've already told us what's happening, what was listening for, so that's great.
Okay, but yeah, the idea is just start. The voices in your head will always be there. You too, speak to the voice in your head. As the voice is talking, you too, respond to that voice. Yeah.
Okay. So finally, this one is the actual finally. We're going to challenge you now, right? I'm going to give you some words, and you're going to basically create like our own small anthem, or should I say, song.
At this particular juncture,
no,
we're out of time, right? We're out of time, right?
So
unfortunately, there's no time for
conversations with Brenda and audacity to live. Just anything, just form a song for us with this that we'll carry out. Okay.
There was a reason I brought worship. There was a reason worship came to sing.
Do something.
So she's here. I don't want to disgrace my. I see. So even if I want to sing, is it this kind of thing?
Is this the one we should? No.
Come on. Let's go.
Conversations
Come on.
with Brenda. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. And thank you everyone.